call this meeting to order. Are there any public comments for the evening?
No.
Did everyone have the opportunity to look over the minutes from last month's meeting? Were there any questions? If not, do we have a motion for approval?
I move to approve.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Minutes approved. That would take us to the Friends of the Pflugerville Library.
Well, I didn't expect to be doing it today, so, all right. Good evening, Library Board. Am I going to come through okay sitting over here?
Probably be better if you sat on the microphone.
All right. Good evening, Library Board. I'm Aaron Millis, Friends of the Library Board member and current president. The Friends rounded out a successful year with Giving Tuesday that exceeded our expectations. We raised just over $2,000 for that event, which is awesome, way beyond our expectations. This year, the Friends have raised over $10,000 through book sales. We've received $5,000 in donations, and the yearly membership dues are what round out our income. With this, we have funded over $9,000 towards library programs this year, awarded $1,500 in teen volunteer awards for library volunteers. We've had books donated to groups like the Travis County Sheriff's Office, Libraries of Love in Uganda and Kenya, and local teen mental health facilities. We've also provided an additional volunteer pool for library programs. For 2025, we did something different. We tracked our volunteer hours down to about 30-minute increments so that we could include those counts in upcoming grant applications. And it lets us fully appreciate the non-monetary contributions. We were over 1,200 hours, which is great. That is a little more than I thought we were at. And we probably won't do it over the next couple years. We just wanted something that we could say and prove those are the numbers. Let's see, the Friends had a table set up at the first Ren Fair, welcoming folks, giving out stickers, swag, and trinkets, and promoting our organization. I think we had one membership during that event, so that wasn't our goal. So the Friends participated with the library at the Windermere Elementary Academic Night to promote our favorite library and our organization. The next book sale will be January 29th, so we don't have any more left for the year. The Friends hold their final meeting for the year in November. We had set our budget for the coming year with a very aggressive increase in library allocation to help fill some of the expected gaps due to the city belt tightening. We also held our annual elections. Aaron Millis, I'm going to continue as president. Kristen Ellisor will continue as vice president. Kimberly Reist will continue as treasurer. And this year, Luke Brecky, who is husband to one of the library staff, is going to step in as secretary. Our next meeting, which will be the first of 2026, is on Tuesday, January 20th here at the library. And as always, our meetings are open to all Friends members. Do you have any questions, concerns, or communications you'd like me to relay to the Friends? All right, thank you for letting me give the report. And I'm gonna go dash back over there.
Our student liaison report. Jade.
So, good evening. Currently at our school, we are on midterm season, so next school we'll be having midterms. But aside from that, on our library, we have our book fair, our annual Adopt a Child, which basically means like we go to our local like elementary school, which is Murkison, and we bring the kids to Hendrickson so we can like pretend like to adopt them and like give them like presents. This is for like the kids that are like underprivileged, who can't get presents on Christmas Day. So we kind of like fundraise and help out just to like give them a Christmas that they deserve. So and yeah, one of the I think student council and PALs are in charge of Adopt a Child. So yeah, we just bring them to like. And whoever wants to participate, just like anyone who's like in first period. So we just bring them to like all the first period classes who will participate, and yeah, they just like have like a little party and just give them the kids some presents. Yeah, that's it.
Is it like a book fair where they like old school bring in stuff for you guys to buy, or is it different for a high school?
For our school, it's just kind of like an elementary school book fair, but it's like they just bring like new books, and it's like It's not really like reused, it's just like packaged, and yeah, just kids just buy it if they're interested. It's not as big as like elementary school, but it's like a small section, so people can just like go and, you know, pick out and just buy at the front, but yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jane. And any outreach updates from Tiara?
She is not here. She has been doing a lot of outreach, and I think it's reflected on the stats that she's reaching even more people this year than she did last year. Yep, it's almost double what it was last year, so she's doing a great job. She is still working on Flash, and it's probably going to be rolled out in a digital format before we go and get a costume and everything. And that's all she had.
And that would be the library director report.
Okay. Should be in your packet. Okay, so our numbers look really good. We are up in pretty much every category overall. I mean, the numbers go back and forth around circulation and the e-resources. So, but they still overall are doing really well. Our program attendance almost double what it was last year. Outreach almost double. We're almost double in new members. Renewed cards is pretty much on course with last year. And I have now added enhanced cards. At the time that I did the report, we only had one enhanced card. And you remember those are the ones that are kind of quasi-government ID. And now I think we're up to 3 or 4, Daniel?
Yeah, 3, I think, yeah.
And staff have been brainstorming ways in which they can get it out more into the public. So they're working on that. We had our first Renaissance Fair. If you didn't go to it, it was a lot of fun. Well, we love wearing costumes and stuff, so any chance we get. But I was really impressed with how, I don't know why, our library programmers are amazing, and the people that plan them and run them are insanely good at what they do. It was smooth. It was awesome. Everybody loved it. A lot of the guests wanted to come back again next year, so we're excited about that. And we had 2,500 people, so that's pretty dang good. We had a veteran resume clinic, so veterans were invited to come and do one-on-one resume help with library staff and volunteers, and we had volunteers from our P+C, which is our human resources. They call themselves People and Culture, and they came to offer assistance also, so that was great. And then we had our first Scholastic Book Fair, and how this worked was we had the book fair here in partnership with Scholastic Books, and then Scholastic gave us a portion of the proceeds. So that was very nice, especially with this weird budget year. Melissa said, I think $1,700 is going to be going back to the library. So again, I'm always amazed at the staff. And that's all I have. Anybody have any questions?
I know in the past when we've talked about programming that we don't run into an issue of programming being under-attended. So would the increase in attendance just be from our ability to have more programming overall?
Yes and no. I mean, I think that we are getting back into the groove. I know it's a while since the pandemic and everything, but that really kicked us around a lot. And it just took a while to build back up the interest and the momentum and everything. So it could be that. It could just be we're offering different types of programming. Another thing that we notice is that sometimes it takes a year or two to get the momentum going with a program. So we usually give them a year or two before we decide whether or not we're going to cut them. If we do end up cutting a program because it wasn't successful in 2022, we'll try and bring it back if it's a worthwhile program to see if maybe the environment has changed a little bit. So yeah, there's a lot of factors.
A big portion of that was run fair. That's like 2,500 of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
That was
also
the
would
first
be
time we
big-
did it, so it's
Okay.
yeah, new number.
Any other questions? That leads us to discuss and consider action on the annual library happiness survey.
Okay, so my apologies for not being here last month. I had to go to the mayor going away thing, so, but Daniel did fill me in that you guys are interested in an accessibility survey, which I think is great. So I included, and we don't necessarily have to use these questions, these are just samples. One really long survey and another one that was really short. So I guess my first question is, are you interested in having a shorter survey that maybe would lead to a more detailed survey, depending on people's answers?
I would think a shorter survey that then we
To
could
start.
focus into,
Mhm.
based on those responses. Just I don't know, in some of the past in the surveys, the longer they've been, have they, survey fatigue, do we get the kind of response we're looking for?
I agree.
In general, I try and cap it at no more than 10 questions.
Okay. All right, and I agree with you guys. I think, I know half the time I don't answer a survey because I'm just like, I don't want to do this. Or I'll do it later and then I don't. So I do think that, I've also been in the middle of a survey and just stopped because I'm like, this is not going to end. So yes, I included some questions in this short survey. These are just ones that I picked out of other libraries. Again, I'm not married to these. Did you have, outside of accessibility, are you more interested in space accessibility or our e-resources or our physical items, our programs even? So maybe we could narrow it down that way.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think last meeting it was a focus on like what are people looking to use and what might it just be they are aware that we already have available.
What are the barriers to
Yeah.
participation?
And then what are things that they're looking for that maybe we don't currently offer?
Okay.
I do think you could logic it out so that you have two paths where library customer versus non-library customer, and then have different questions based on that. And then that would be your first question, and then it could tree out. That way you could get a little bit more diverse or a wider amount of information without necessarily getting that survey fatigue.
Okay, I agree. And I think that doing something like that is where we could then branch off into more detail, like, oh, this is all going to be about our resources. This one's about space. Because we are really crowded for space, and we've been working with the facilities master plan to reimagine this space so that it will do for us for another couple of years before we can really start concentrating on a branch or a branch and extension of this building, which is fine. So yeah, we need to be very cognizant of the space needs of people who are maybe have some mobility issues or something like that. So yeah, okay. So what do you guys think about, I can start doing like a framework for this with the branches. If you guys want to email me a question that you think should be on there, we can do that, or I can do the same to you. I can send some out to y'all. The only thing that we can't do is reply all, like we can't, because of the Texas Open Meetings Act, you would only be able to reply to me, not to the whole group. Okay, are we good with that? Okay, I'll start that rolling then. And we'll see where we get by next month. So Matt's here. You gonna take over now?
Sorry, like I've become dependent on my phone and it's not giving me alerts, so like I don't know what's going on. So that's a lame excuse for my tardiness. Where are we at?
We were discussing we're at the last few items, we were discussing the happiness survey. And so this discussion was that it's gonna be about different facets of accessibility, I think. Just to get more info on what needs we're not meeting.
Okay.
Okay, did I sum it up correctly? Okay. Okay, so
Moving on to the
no action on that yet? Okay,
library board meeting times.
yes. So, they're kind of having a discussion all over the city, and I know Daniel mentioned it at the last meeting, about boards and commissions and whether or not they really do need to meet every month, or would it be better to have them meet quarterly and then as needed during the month. So if we were working on something like policies and we needed an extra meeting, we could put that in. So there's that, and it is, again, across the board. With the library board, because it is written in the charter that you would meet monthly, it then needs to go to the charter review board, and then they can make their determination at that time. So we're kind of in a holding pattern as far as frequency of meetings, but there's nothing in the charter about time of meeting. And I know that at the time that we put this meeting at 6 o'clock, it was because we had a lot of older people on the board and they didn't like to drive in the dark. And understandably, I don't either. So that's why we changed it at that time. But now we have a lot of young people who are working and have kids, etc. And that time might not be working best for everyone. So we have the opportunity to change that time. What would be easier for you guys? 6:30, 7:30 is kind of cutting it because we close at 8. So we could move to 6:30 or 7.
I like 6:30.
6:30?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Is there any kind of, since it's not in the charter, is this something that, like, if we switched it and then halfway, a quarter through the year, where like this doesn't work, we could amend it?
Yes,
Again?
yes. Y'all could vote again. It's not in any of the charter or any of the rules the library had set out initially. So yes, we could. You would have to call for a motion.
Would you guys be okay trying 7? Or is that too late?
It's a little late just because that's when my kids are starting to get ready for bed. But I can make it work. It just wouldn't be my first choice.
Okay.
I don't care, either way.
Then you get a pass. Then you have your spouse get the kids ready, right?
Yeah.
Get a once a month break. What about you? What about y'all?
I'm not gonna come back next year, but if I were, I'd probably prefer 6:30. That's kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah, I would
if
say
you're
the
trying to-
preference would be
Okay.
at 6:30.
All right, 6:30.
Okay, so you'll have to vote.
Do we have a motion to change the library board meeting time to 6:30? So I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The motion carries unanimously. And I happened to be just reading the community impact earlier today. They're getting a archives library?
Yeah,
Big
the
old
Texas
archives
State Library and Archives is going to have a physical archive here in Pflugerville, which is really cool. It's going to be primarily just archived things. We have talked before, I know, with the partners at Heritage House about an archive here in Pflugerville for Pflugerville history. But with an archive, it's got to be environmentally controlled, and it depends on the medium that it's in, and you'll have to have different environments for each thing. So I think that just that is not feasible for us right now, but having the Texas State Library archives there is great. I haven't looked into it that much to see if it's going to be a public space where people can just go in. I would think so, since it's a state, but I'll find out.
I think they're moving the talking book program there.
Okay, so
I
yeah,
think that's
people
a big
could go in.
component of it, yeah.
Would Pflugerville be able to archive their stuff in there?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to ask. I know that they do the flag, so the Pflugerville flag going way back. And they do have photos and that sort of thing of Pflugerville in their archive. As far as me taking stuff over there and saying archive this, I don't know. I'd have to ask. We do have a digital archive for those of y'all that aren't familiar with it. So that was our compromise because we don't have the money to build a physical space. But I'll ask.
Does anybody have any other new business or? So good reminder, December is coming up. So if you're up for re-election, that meeting will be, I think on the 16th.
16th, I think, yeah.
And if you're not, thank you for participating on the library board this year. And we hope you come back in a few years, maybe take a year off or a break. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you have?
I don't
on
have
your agenda?
anything. Do y'all have any other? No?
Again, apologies for my tardiness. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Awesome.